Hello and welcome to Jumble Lane Model Railway and Scenic3D, depending which channel you're watching this from. It's been a long time since I've brought out a video, especially on the Jumble Lane channel. I think the last time was about 18 months, nearly 2 years ago, when I vowed that I would be doing some modifications to the track and the station platform and one or two other things. Started that, I started doing some filming, but some things happened outside of the model railway, and that was my father was getting more ill as time was getting on. In December last year, he had to go into hospital as his illness increased in difficulty and everything else. And we got him home for Christmas Day, and we had Christmas lunch with him. Up until that time, I'd been spending 8 to 10 hours a day or more caring for both him and my mum, and then travelling 25 miles back home and doing a good 12 hours work in the meantime at home, having very little sleep and trying to catch up throughout times, trying to keep the 3D printing going mainly and keeping everything running. No time at all have I spent on my layout. It's been since I'd done the first month or so after the video that I actually did some work, but not a lot. And in December, when my dad was ill, I couldn't do anything at all apart from be with them. He was in hospital throughout most of December, like I say, and then came home. Unfortunately, I left my mum and dad on New Year's Eve, and I came home. I had some things to deal with at home, and I got back on the next morning to find my dad had died in the night. And then I had to break the news to my mum. Now, my mum's 91. Well, she was 90 at the time, but she's 91 now. And 3 days after my dad died, my mum fell, broke her shoulder, dislocated it, spent a month in one hospital and then a month in another hospital. Throughout that time, she never received any decent treatment, no physiotherapy. She lost the use of her arms. She lost the use of her legs because they didn't get her up and about. They just thought, well, she's in pain, she don't need to move, we'll just keep her in bed. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but now I'm her main carer. She's moved into my house. But in doing so, I've had to remove everything from my house related to my business. At the moment, I'm talking to you from a shed in my garden, and this shed is a massive shed. I mean, it's 18 foot by 8 foot, which is massive for me. I'm normally used to a little tiny shed. And I've just literally thrown everything in there. It was a very cheap shed I had to get quickly. There's problems with it because it wasn't prepared properly. I didn't have the time. Bearing in mind I had to do a lot of work in my house. I had very little time to do it in. And then all of a sudden, because of the way my mum was treated, I made a joke saying, well, when I get you out of this hospital, Mum, to take you to the funeral, for my dad's funeral, I'll kidnap you and I won't bring you back. Fortunately, a nurse heard, and the following day I had a phone call to say Mum's coming home tomorrow. And was supposed to have been waiting for 2 weeks for a proper care package put into place, but it wasn't. Now we're getting into outside of the subject what we really should be talking about. And to cut a long story short, I've spent a long time trying to get help with the situation. In doing so, there's a lot of things that haven't been done. I haven't been able to print any more 3D items. I haven't been able to keep on top of things, and I've been trying to spend as much time as possible looking after my mum, who has 24-hour care from myself. She does have carers come to do certain things, what have you, but they're still not the help that we should have. So, yeah, I'm struggling. And something has to go. So I have put in place certain things like trying to sell off the stock cheap. I've had, a big sale, which I sold quite a bit of stock, but not all of it. Top and bottom of it is I want to get rid of all my stock. I've got my website, which is scenic3d.co.uk, and I've got the store on the eBay. eBay is a bone of contention at the moment because they keep on making stock level mistakes and basically selling things I haven't got and not listing things that I have got. There's only there's two good reasons why I've kept eBay. Number one, first and foremost, there's a little button. When you make a listing, there's a little button that you click, and that allows you to sell anywhere around the world. It's called the Global Shipping Service. And basically, I just sell the item as though I'm selling it to somebody in the UK. It gets posted off to a warehouse in the UK. eBay take care of all the rest. They deal with the extra cost of shipping. They take care of exports and customs and everything else. I don't see that. I have nothing to do with it. So that's one good point. The other good point is it's the one-stop shop for anybody who wants to buy anything. eBay is good if you want to promote things, and they'll just promote it. If somebody searches for something, it's a worldwide thing. It's been around for a long time, so it's the first place people go to find things. So that is the only two reasons why I've kept with eBay. The worst thing about eBay is they give no support at all to the sellers, and I'm a registered business seller on eBay, so I should be given sort of help when it comes to things. Take, for instance, the courier companies. I know how they work. I used to deliver for Yodel. I used to take things out from the warehouse to people's houses, and it was all the items similar to what I'm selling now. Different things, but all sorts of things. I knew what the crack was when it come to trying to get out to doing so much work. Personally, they never always give me the stock, the deliveries I wanted to make a good living out of it. So they didn't give me a full van's worth of stuff. So I got round every single item that I got to take out, and I delivered it all. Some people get overloaded, and what they do, they scan it as undeliverable, as in they couldn't deliver it because there's nobody in or whatever. What I don't seem to realise is that every scan is geographically updated by GPS, by the device they use to scan it, be it their mobile phone or whatever. So they weren't sort of sensible enough to understand that they're getting caught out. The trouble is, when eBay receive a note off people to say, "Oh, I haven't received my stuff," they'll withhold the funds, and that stops me from being paid. And I can't do with that. I need to live, I need to earn, so I can't do with things like that. And people just blame the seller immediately, and eBay just pounce on the seller and say, resolve this item. Well, it's got nothing to do with me. You look at the tracking, and I dispatched it immediately, and it went down to the drop-off point, which happens to be a shop, and it was collected from there and went to the delivery company's warehouse. So at that point, I should be alleviated of all responsibility, but no, it's my responsibility until the person says they've received it and they're happy with it. So it's not really fair, and eBay do not really back you up on this. The other thing that's a problem with eBay is that somebody turns around and says something to me, and I'll try and answer them on a message. And the problem is, eBay will intercept anything they deem as me trying to do something behind the back. I understand that. But when a customer asks for something out of the ordinary, and I'm trying to work with them, they intercept the message, and the customer doesn't receive that message back. That's a big problem. And the reason is that for a couple of months later, I get told by eBay one or more of my messages was intercepted. But they won't tell me which messages and who to. So the customer thinks I haven't spoken to them, I haven't answered them, and then I get a bad review from the customer, or they don't come back. One thing I pride myself in is communication. I hate working with companies that you cannot speak to a human being. Whether it's your TV provider, internet provider, whoever. Any large companies these days have machines answering the phone and trying to speak to you. And that in my life is no good to me. Some people like it, I don't give them monkeys. At the end of the day, I hate it, and I am sick of talking to machines that don't give you the right answer or don't give you the option of asking the right sort of question. So, all in all, it's becoming a struggle. Any customer who uses my website has my full details, my phone number, my home address, emails, anything. On every single item sold, the instructions, where there's instructions enclosed, gives you the chance to speak to me at any time. Obviously, it's preferable in office hours, but I'll answer the phone at any time if my phone rings and I hear it. I'll answer the emails or messages straight away. So I'll communicate with my customers and I'll give them exactly what they want. And I've prided myself in that from day one. I can do that when people communicate to me through the website. And I had a chap recently who wanted something, and it was a little bit out of the ordinary. And I was trying to tell him, and for some reason, even though it was listed on eBay, as far as my listings are concerned, it didn't show up in the store. You couldn't see it. You couldn't search for it. eBay did not send it out on people's screens, so you couldn't find it. And I tried several times. Now, this is a customer who is a repeat customer and is trying to buy more of the same item. And I'm basically turning around, messaging him and saying all the details for contact through the website. Yet he still kept on sending me messages on the eBay platform. It just did not click. And that is very frustrating when you're trying to tell a customer to do something. Yesterday, somebody emailed me and I found it this morning, and I answered the email this morning. Another item that he was looking for, and I says, well, it's on eBay. It's not on the store. It's not on the website. When I've got the two lots of stock, you can see behind me, that's just a selection of the boxes, and there's more that goes down, and there's more in boxes on the floor. It takes up too much room, all of these boxes. But when you take into account, I had stock which was allocated to the stock when I go to the shows. I had stock allocated to the website, and I had stock allocated to eBay. So when people order things, you'd think that if there was 10 of that item on eBay and I sold one, there would now be 9. And for the most of the time, that's true, and that does happen. But quite often, it will go from 9 to 19. Silly things like that. And I'm quite happily selling things away to find out I'm selling things I haven't got. So when it comes to situations like that, I'm stuck because at the moment I'm not printing. I haven't got time to print. I brought my resin printers into the shed, but as you know, garden sheds, they will go from almost freezing point to too hot to be in the shed. The temperature difference has changed dramatically, and with 3D printing that's difficult. You need a constant temperature. For filament printing, FDM type machines, you need a good area where there's no drafts, because your printer will just lift off the print bed. Also, I can't use them in the same room as the resin printers because the chemicals will react with the printing and the material. So I can't have the FDM printers in here because of the drafts. So I've always had and always left them in my bedroom. So it's a problem now because I'm trying to stop using my house as a factory. So that's the problem. So all in all, I am attempting to sell off all the stock. It's a shame because the jigs, the point motor jigs, which are FDM printed, they sell very well, and they're the main staple now of everything I do. There isn't a day goes by without me selling at least one. So underneath the shelf here, there's loads of boxes, and it's got all the jigs in there. And I have got somebody who might be interested in buying all of those and the rights to keep on printing them. So I should be selling those off. This morning I've just been in the process of moving a lot of the stock back into the website stock. So I'll continue there. When I've got time to get my head around it, there may be another sale, and I'm going to be just selling off all the 3D printed stuff off on another sale, a clearance sale. It's going to be completely, get rid of it now, whatever it costs. It's just going to go. There won't be any more items printed, which is a shame because some of the items just sell all the time. I haven't got the time to keep on printing, like I've said, so all that's going to stop. The jigs, I really would like to sell that as a going concern. One thing you might have noticed if you've been on scenic3d.co.uk, the website, is that now there is the availability to buy the STL files, and you can print the items yourself. This will not happen for the jigs, at least not for the foreseeable future, because if I sell the jigs as a going concern, then it wouldn't be fair that I've let people buy the STLs first. But as far as the resin printing items, the scenic items, it's going to be a free-for-all. Not all of them have been listed, and that's because it takes time, because you got to make up a listing and you've got to add all the files. And a lot of the files I've got are unique to my printers with the settings that I've made for my printers. So it's basically redoing them in a where I sell the STL file and sell it as a supported file. And for anybody that doesn't know, when you print something on a resin printer, you may have to have it in a certain rotation in a 3D space and have it supported. So you've got little stems and feet and legs coming off it, holding it in a certain position so it prints. So you've got two files basically. You've got the STL file, and then you've got another STL file which is a supported file. In many cases, you'll buy a low gauge or the full range of gauges. So although at the moment there's 19 items on there, some are, you'll get the files for OO, N, TT and O, or a range of different gauges. But you can rescale them, and if you know your scales and you can work it out, you can just enlarge or decrease it. One thing I've found when I have been printing, it's not an easy thing to just reduce it in size, because limitations of the printer, if you could print something the thickness of a hair, human hair, then it's okay. But if you can't, when you've reduced something that is very small, almost the size of human hair, from 00 gauge down to N gauge, you'll find that it won't print because it's thinner than human hair, and it's thinner than what the printer can manage to print. So within reason, you've got to redo the model before, or design it in that size or that scale before you can print it. So that is where I've actually redrawn items, and you get the scales separately. But where things can easily be reduced in size, I just left them as the 00 gauge. Majority of the items are just 99p each STL file. Some of £1.49, and that's because there might be. It was a very difficult job to make it, everything else. So it's just a matter of £1.49. It's not a lot really, and you can make it as you want to. So that is the story why there's been no videos out on either of the channels. All what I've told you is not an excuse as to why I've been doing it, it's a reason. A lot of us have personal lives. It's not just railways. I'd love to be able to spend a lot of my days just sat upstairs at my layout, playing with the trains, doing things, making scenery, modelling, doing a lot. What I do like more than that is spending time with my mum. And I know my mum hasn't got that long left on this earth, so I'm spending that time with her. She's not too well. I wouldn't say she's at death's door, because she's not, but she does need 24-hour care. She can't walk and she can't do things for herself. So yeah, I wash, I clean, and I attend to her needs. But that is more important to me than anything to do with this. I'm still devoting time to it. The long term, irrespective of what happens with my mum, is that I will continue printing, as in mugs, t-shirts, all items, you name it, coasters, clothing. Probably try and introduce back the back scenes, but that's when I'm able to go out and do more of the photography to build up the scenes. There's one thing about the websites as well, and there is with my website, there is a system you can use where people can enter personal details that get, so they can, like, if you want a mug, you get your name on the mug, you just enter your name or what you want writing on the mug. And I did have it working at one point, but they changed the plugin for it, and this is Shopify, and that plugin no longer works, and for some reason it's so long-winded. Just like trying to sell my stuff outside the UK, it's a very long-winded, and you can't just click a button like you can on eBay. It's for every single item you have to go through quite a few steps, and you've got to, it's just so difficult. It's not straightforward. So, you know, I'm getting on a bit now myself, so I can't think straight and get things done right. So I hope to get back on track with videos on the layout. I've had to organise something today for me to be in the shed while I do this video. So it's not straightforward at the moment, and I'll get back to things as soon as I possibly can. So that is what's happening at Scenic3D as such. I will be closing down the eBay store. That's something I've made quite clear. I have not done any shows, and I haven't got any shows booked. I would prefer that I go to shows and I don't do online, because I prefer to meet people face to face, deal with them face to face, talk to the customers and get feedback face to face. And it's easier to talk to somebody to get a point across rather than to keep writing emails or letters or messages or whatever. So as time goes on, I might be returning back to doing the shows. It all depends what it is I'll be printing. Things like the t-shirts, the mugs, and the sublimation printed things, all those will probably be generic items if I sell those on store. It's too much hard work to take a computer, a printer, a press, and everything else and do it, because while I'm doing that, it takes up all the time, and I've got no time to talk to the customers. So unless I've got an army of people working for me, which then I've got to pay them, and I earn nothing myself because there isn't that much money in it. So that's where I am at the moment. I hope you understand that I've had to make these decisions, and this is the way it's going to roll. So until I see you next time, I'm sorry it's been long-winded and probably boring to some, but there you are. It's something I've got to do, let you know, and be open with it. So bye-bye for now.